I'm about to show you every single possible thing from start to finish that you could need to scale from 0 to 10K a month, 10K to 20K a month, and 20K to 30K a month and beyond. This is exactly what I used to do it. And just so you know, I'm not full of shit before I get right into this, because I'm going to speed run through this here and break this down in like 15 minutes or so. I have made over $600,000 with my agency. And then little over a month ago, we started a brand new agency, and we've collected, as you can see, from June 23rd to July 23rd. We got it to 10K a month, and this is monthly recurring revenue. We got it to past 10K a month in 30 days, just to show that we know what we're doing. That is not luck, it's purely system. So let's get right into this. I don't want to waste any more time. I'm going to be speed running through this and breaking down everything. So take out a pen and paper, and we're about to blitz through this. So first things first, we need to be going over laying the foundation. This is just the offer itself, right? And so things have changed over the last little bit. You can get away with selling just AI agents. You can, but it's a lot more difficult than it was a year ago. The first 30K we made in 3 weeks, if you guys know our story, was purely from selling AI agents to businesses. It's a little bit more difficult to do that nowadays, to where now I think the best way to go is almost a traditional SMMA model, where you're selling the outcome, but you're just using AI to make your life and fulfillment so much easier. And that's exactly what we did with the brand new agency here that we scaled to past 10K a month, almost a little over 12K a month in 30 days. And so the main thing we're going to focus on is appointments. For most businesses, that's going to be the most appealing thing that you can get for them, right? And so for us, we targeted home service businesses, and specifically a niche in home services, right? You want to niche down as much as you can: roofers, renovation companies, landscapers, plumbers, those types of things. Ideally, ones that have high ticket services above like $2,000, so that you can get them some appointments and they're very satisfied. And so our offer that we sold 5 clients on over the course of this month for 2K a month was, we'll get you 10 to 20 booked estimates per month. And we just used AI. We set up their ads and we used AI to do that for them. And so you need to pick your main offer, most likely going to be appointments. You can do other things. Lead qualification kind of falls into that same bucket. Onboarding assistant. These are types of things that you can add on. But the main one, especially if you're starting out and you're under 10K a month, it's going to want to be appointments purely. Now, the niche and the avatar that you're going after, this is also very important, because you need to be picking a business that has high ticket services. If you're going after med spas, for example, and you're helping them get like Botox clients, for example, which is what I did when I first started online, you're getting them like, $200, maybe $300 bookings, or at least sometimes even like $150 bookings. And so it just doesn't make sense. You have to get them so many for them to profit if you want to charge 2K a month. Plus, they're going to be spending 2-3K a month on ad spend. They need to be closing a crap ton of appointments. And so for us, the average job we were getting our clients were 6K to 8K jobs. So realistically, even if we get them, 2 jobs a month, they're profiting, they're happy, they're sticking with us because they made a good amount, right? So it's just about leverage. And so with that, it's about picking the niches that have the high ticket services. And for the most part, that's going to be home service, because roofers, that's like 15, 20K jobs. Foundation companies, pretty big. Home remodeling, those are like 40 grand jobs. So those types of things, right? Home service, real estate marketing agencies. Coaches are good as well, because coaches are high ticket services. Marketing agencies sometimes have high ticket services. Medical is difficult. Insurance is great, but it's not super high ticket. Home service, if you're starting, it will be the best bang for your buck that you can get. Company size, how big companies do you want to go after? Because one thing we experimented with was when our ad said we'll get you 10 to 20 estimates per month, we were getting small businesses that wanted 10 to 20. As soon as we changed, which we realized like pretty early on, we just changed our ad. Everything else stayed the exact same. We changed our ad to be, we will get you 50 booked estimates per month. Now, all of a sudden, it was all businesses that could handle 50 booked estimates per month, and they were all making usually over 100 grand a month. Every single business, they were usually 7-figure or at least multi 6-figure businesses that were coming through. And so that made a huge difference just in our messaging. And so keep that in mind as well when you're advertising. How much revenue do you want them to be making? Profit is the biggest thing, because you want them to be not only bringing good revenue, but they need to be taking home good profit, because that's what actually matters, right? Revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, right? So we need to make sure they're profiting good. Now, what are the main pain points for these guys? For the niche we were going after, it was always shitty leads. That was the biggest pain. And by the way, we're still scaling this agency up because I love it. We're going to scale this up to 100K a month, this new agency we started. But the biggest pain point for them was shitty leads, or leads that on platforms that everybody gets access to. So they'd go do an estimate and there'd be 5 other guys giving the same estimate. And so the biggest thing was tough, just shitty leads. And so we took care of that by getting good quality leads and good quality estimates. And so now, in terms of setting up your pricing, the biggest thing is the use case, right? So what are you doing for them? What is the outcome that you're getting for them? For us, I would break down the math, right? I would say, okay, we're getting you 10 to 20 estimates per month, right? So if we're getting you 10 to 20 estimates per month and your average job is 10K, which a lot of these businesses were, and your profit is 5K, let's say your close rate is usually about 40% for most of these guys, 35, 40%. I'll use 40 for easy math. So if 10 to 20 book estimates, they're closing 40%, that's 4 to 8 jobs per month. 4 to 8 jobs times 10K is 40K to 80K revenue right there. They're already attracted because that's a good amount of money for these guys. Now, half of that is their profit, 20K to 40K profit. Now, our cost to get that, 3K they have to put to ad spend, and our service fee is 2K a month. That's 5K. After everything's said and done, they're profiting 15 to 35K per month on top of what they're currently doing. That's a very appealing offer. And we also have one at 50 estimates. We get them 50 estimates, they're closing roughly, if they're closing 40%, that's 20 jobs. Now 20 times 5K profit, that's 100K profit, right? And for that, they have to put 9K to ad spend, and our cost is 5K, so 14K. So they're profiting 86K, right? And so that's the type of numbers that we're throwing at these guys. And you want to price accordingly, because roughly, I think if you price 10 to 20% of what you're bringing them, that's a good price to be at. And so for us, most of these guys we close were 2K a month. 2K a month and 3K in ad spend. That's how we're able to close these guys. We guarantee you 10 to 20K or 10 to 20 estimates per month, you get a full refund. That's it. And we get them to 10 to 20 estimates because we're using AI to book it for them, which I'll get into in a second. Now, upfront payment, monthly retainer, that's the best way to go. You can do rev share, you can do per appointment, but I would only do it for your first client if you're really trying to get one in there. For us, like, we were confident enough in our skills that we just pushed for upfront payment right away. Now, I spent longer on that section than I wanted to, so let's get right to the next one. Crafting your offer and assets. We kind of touched on this a little already. So sell the outcome. We're going to get you 10 to 20 booked estimates per month guaranteed, or you get a full refund. Very simple. Bonuses, things like AI. These guys, they would get set into our calendar. We use the same AI for our business to book these guys that we're using for them to get them estimates. And so they would speak to us and they'd be like, oh, is the AI work? And I'd be like, can you check the conversation quickly? Can you pull it up on your phone and just see the conversation you had with us? And they'll scroll. I'm like, that was fully with the AI that we're going to use for you. And they're blown the fuck away. Like the AI is very, very good over text. And so we use that very much for all the fulfillment for ourselves and for our clients. So you want to have the risk reversal, which is if it doesn't perform, you get a refund, or we'll work for free, or 30 days free work, or stuff like that. Ours we did was you get a full refund. Building the core infrastructure. There's a few things you need to have in place. You need to have the funnel, you need to have the VSL, and you need to have the opt-in page. For us, we didn't use a VSL because we tried it. These guys don't fucking watch it because they're home service guys. They just don't give a shit. It's the way it goes. We got rid of the VSL. Everything got better after that. So you got to test it out. We did so much testing. We tested out of all of these things here. We tested out at least 20 to 30 different variations of the funnel, the VSL, the pipeline, or not necessarily the pipeline because that's internal, but the booking automations, the nurturing sequences, the ads, the qualification page, the booking page, the thank you page. We tested at least 20 to 30 different variations of all of that in the first 2-3 weeks. And that's where we were able to hone in very quickly and then close these clients. And so the funnel, right? They're getting sent from the ad. They're either filling out a Facebook lead form or they're filling out a web form on your funnel. Both are good. When you're starting out, do Facebook lead form. It's less friction. You're going to get more leads, cheaper leads. You're also going to get some shitty leads in there, but that's fine. You just need to open the floodgates and then add the filters in there as you start to get good amount of leads coming through. Then you're going to send them on that page. They're going to opt in, and you're probably going to send them to either a VSL page or a calendar page. For us, we send them to a calendar page because these guys don't watch VSL. Send them to a calendar page where they answer some qualifying questions, revenue, what are they looking for from us that they didn't get in the past? How many jobs are they doing per month? And basic stuff like that. We don't ask too many questions for these guys because we do it all on the call. Then they book. It gets into a quick thank you page. We test it out. We had a video on our thank you page, and then we got rid of it. Without the video, it did way better because they would see at the top, okay, I need to accept my invitation and I need to confirm this invitation in text. We confirm like motherfuckers with these guys because home service, they don't show up. They forget, they're busy. We make them confirm yes to us like 3 to 4 times before they're booking. Every booking reminder says you need to respond yes or we're going to cancel you because we cancel everybody who doesn't respond yes. They'll be responding 3-4 times with yes, all caps, and we know, okay, these guys are showing up. That took our show up rate from 20% in the beginning when we didn't have all this stuff in place to being about 90%, and it's still sitting around there. Show up rate's been amazing. Pipelines, tags, tracking. This is all internal. I won't go too deep into this. If you guys want me to make a separate video on all the tracking we use for ourselves and internal client stuff, let me know. We have a shit ton. Now, the booking automations. You need to be reminded. If you're going after home service, we remind these guys 24 hours. As soon as they book, we send them 3 text messages, getting them to confirm with yes. Then 24 hours, we get them to confirm with yes. 3 hours, we remind them. 1 hour, we remind them to get to confirm with yes. And then we send them a 15-minute and a 5-minute. Like, we hammer these guys. I would never send them out of reminders for our coaching offer, for example, because you just don't need it. People get super annoyed. Home service guys, you need it. We had guys respond an hour before. We're going to be there, and then they no-show. So you need to have that. Nurturing sequences, same things. We're getting them to book. The only goal is to book. But with the nurturing sequences, we're sending them reminders. And when they respond, then the AI comes in. It's called CloseBot. The AI comes in. I can make a separate video showing you CloseBot, but the second they respond, the AI comes in, handles the whole conversation, and books them in for us. And if they stop answering the AI, Then, okay, the next nurturing automation will go out, they respond, the AI takes over and books them. Now the ads, I'll show you the ads in a sec. Preparing lead magnets. With these guys, this doesn't apply too much, the lead magnet side of things, because they don't really care. At least for blue collar, they want money. They don't really care about lead magnets. They just want more jobs, more money. And if you can do that for them confidently, they will pay you good money. All right. And the beautiful thing about these guys is that when you get them good results, like most of the businesses that are, they're over 7 figures, they're like, okay, we'll start with the 2K a month. But as soon as you get us good results, we will go to your 5K a month retainer. We will go to a 7, 8, 9K a month retainer. If you guys show us you know what you're doing, we will pay your highest price, because these guys firstly, they're very loyal. I find they're amazing to work with. But they also, if they get good results, they will invest in it. But if they get bad results, they'll kick you to the fucking curb. And so there's both sides of that, right? So now when it comes to the paid ads, we did a few different things here. We used a ton of VO3 creatives. And so they did very, very well for us. And so I will actually pull one up here and show you.
Small cracks, musty smells, it only gets worse. Get a free crawl space inspection today by clicking the button below.
Okay, so there you can see that's a creative we actually ran for a client. It's fully AI. And so we run very similar ones for ourselves as well. We'll experiment. We'll have gorillas be on there. We'll have different, cool AI things that pattern interrupt and stand out. This isn't going to last forever, though. There's going to be so many ads that are all AI that eventually it's going to go back to human ads being the ones that stand out. But for now, we're abusing this because it does super, super well. We use our ChatGPT for primary text, and then we edit it. We use ChatGPT for our headlines for our ads, and then we edit it and refine it. We use ChatGPT for almost everything. We use VO3 to create our ad creatives a lot of the times, and for most of our ads, probably 70% of our ads. And then we use ChatGPT to create all the copy. Don't overcomplicate it. You can even go into ChatGPT and say, create me an ad creative with a construction worker standing on a roof, and say, we'll get you 10 booked roofing estimates in a month, or you get your money back. And it will create a good, solid ad that you can run. And then this is generally what the ad campaign looks like for the most part. So we're going to run one campaign, and we're going to be testing out, let's say, different niches or different targeting, for example, inside of each of these. And so just for example, just so you get the idea, I'm going to use 3 different home service niches. Ideally, you probably want to do interests underneath your one sub niche, right? If you're roofers, you might want to pick like an interest that's roofing contractors, roofs, right? But for this, I'm just going to use these as examples. And so we're going to see, let's say we're running to see which one of these performs the best, so we know what to optimize. We're testing out, okay, what's going to be the best one that I should focus on? So we're going to run 3 ad sets inside of our main campaign. They're all lead campaigns, but we're going to run 3 ad sets inside of here. The first one is targeting construction. The second one is home renovation. The third one is roofers. Now, how do we know which one performs best? Well, we're going to test them, right? We want to see, is construction better, home renovation better, or roofers better? But for us to know which one is better, everything else needs to be the same, right? Because if you're testing to see which variable is better, all of the variables need to be the exact same, so you can actually correlate the outcome to it being the interest itself, right? And not because it's ads that are different. And so we're going to run dynamic creatives. What dynamic creative optimization does is it allows you to run multiple ad creatives, multiple primary text, and multiple headlines all at once, and Facebook will do it itself and tell you which one performs better individually. So now we can keep all these variables the same while also seeing what ad creatives perform the best, what primary text performs the best, what headlines perform the best, and what interest performs the best across these. So now let's say after a week, we see, okay, roofers was the best one. So now we're going to take a new campaign. We're going to launch roofers, or we might duplicate the ad set, but just for simplicity's sake, we're going to launch a new campaign. We're going to take the roofing ad set, and we're going to put like 80% of our budget towards it. And we're going to turn off these 2 other ones, roofers. And then let's say we check the dynamic creative. We're going to see, okay, what performed the best here? It was ad creative 2. Okay, we're going to take ad creative 2. Was it primary text 3? Okay, we'll take primary text 3. Was it headline 2? Okay, we'll take headline 2. CTA, always learn more. And this is our winning ad set, because we tested it out and that was the best performance. So when it comes to the lead journey, right, we already went over this. Click ad, they go to opt-in, whether it's Facebook lead form opt-in or just opt-in page on the funnel. Then they watch a VSL, depending, right? We didn't do a VSL, but you want to start with a VSL, and if it's just causing too much friction, you can get rid of it like we did. And it was great for us. 9 times out of 10, though, a VSL is better. Then they're going to fill out a form, whether it's a form, questions that are part of the opt-in form, or you added a separate qualification after to further filter people out. Our question on our lead form was name, email, phone number, and then simply, do you own X business? Yes or no. That's it. And that massively, like, our lead quality is 90% our ideal business owner that's coming through here. Maybe I should say 80. 90 is a bit pushing it, but 80% of our business owners. And that one question, we were getting so many shitty leads before, and we were confused. We were like, I feel like we should still be getting good leads coming through. Then we added that one question, and all of a sudden, it was all amazing leads. And then they go to the calendar, they book. They're getting email, they're getting called, they're getting texted immediately, confirming them, submitting pre-call info, which is after you call them, you get their information, you submit it, and you book them in. But what we've been doing with these home service guys is if a lead comes through, we will call them right away and we'll just try to close them. We'll go through the sales call right there because these guys, a lot of them will book and we'll have a scheduled time. But if I get these guys on the phone or if our team gets these guys on the phone, we're not going to waste that opportunity because a lot of these guys are very busy and it's sometimes difficult to get them on the phone. And so if we get them on the phone, we're just going to go through the sales call right then and there. If they say they have 20 minutes, we will go through the sales call and try to close them right then and there. Our sales calls have also been between 15 and 30 minutes for these guys. It's very quick, very straight to the point, right to the numbers, brief discovery, breaking down the numbers, what we'll do for them. They don't give a fuck about the processes. They don't care how we do it, if it's AI, if it's people, if it's whatever. They just want to know, are you going to make me more money? That's what we lay out the guarantee, briefly handle objections, close. Simple as that. This doesn't really apply for this here, but it can be good if you're doing like content, paid ads, organic content, DMs. It depends what you're doing, right? If you're going home service, do DMs, don't do cold email or cold calls. That's the way to go. I'm speeding through this. I'm not going to waste time on that for this because you just don't necessarily need that to get to 10, 20, 30K a month. Now, nurturing and retargeting, briefly talk about this. Email and SMS sequences. You want to have these guys getting hammered. We have a 100-day nurturing sequence for these guys. We're going to run retargeting ads for these guys down the line because we just started this agency a month and a half ago now, right? So we're at about the 14K a month mark now, but we don't have enough leads to run retargeting ads. We have like 500-600 leads that have come through. I want to have a couple thousand before we run retargeting ads. And then AI calls. You set the AI up, call all your old leads, book them in. Simple as that. Now, sales and closing. One call sales call, or the one call close sales process. You're going to, whether you are showing up to the sales call with full triage report, maybe you are, maybe you're not, right? Depending if you have a triage call. And for those of you who don't know what a triage call is, it's simply where a new lead comes through, somebody calls them. Ideally, they're called a triager, right? It might be a VA, it might be you. You call them, 5-10 minute conversation. You're just briefly qualifying them and then booking them in. And then ideally, after that call, you're filling out a form for your closer or yourself or whoever's taking the call to have the info that you gathered on that triage call so that they're more, prepared going into that sales call. For us, this doesn't apply for this offer. It did on our old agency. This new agency we started, doesn't matter. We get them on the phone, we close them, right? Bit different. But first thing you're going to do is position yourself as the authority. You need to speak confidently on these calls. That is 9 times out of 10. When you are starting out, most people sound like a pussy when they start out. And that's normal. Most people do. But I'll tell you, the only reason I was able to close deals when I first started in this agency space was because I told myself, okay, I have no fucking clue what I'm doing, but I'm going to sound and talk like I do. And the confidence that I portrayed on these sales calls was the only reason that I was able to close these people when I had no fucking clue what I was doing at all. Now I do know what I'm doing, so it's real confidence on the sales call. But when you start out, you don't know what you're doing, right? And so you almost need to fake the confidence until you have the real confidence. But the confidence will go so far, and that will position you as the authority in your space, and they will see you, especially if you're going home service, right? It's a lot of A types. They're blue collar, they're confident, they're arrogant. You need to be able to put them in their place that you are the person who knows how to do marketing and get them good results. And then build a brief rapport. Turning these guys into a friend is honestly a lot easier than any other industry. They're great to talk to. Turning them into a friend is the best way to close them. Like I spoke to a guy the other day and we didn't even talk much about the business stuff. I briefly spoke about it. We talked about other shit because he lives in the same area as me and he went to the hospital, but he's most likely going to close now because we just became friends over the call. And then you do brief discovery, get to know about their current situation, why they're here, why they want to leave this current situation, how many jobs they're doing, how big their crew is, that basic type of stuff. What is their current situation? Why did they book this call? And then what is their desired situation and how can we be the person to bridge the gap from their current situation to their desired situation? And that gets into the pitch. This is how we get you XYZ appointments, This is how we'll get you to your X desired state. Then you handle brief objections, time objections, talk to the wife, that type of shit. A lot of partner objections in home service. And then you close the deal, collect the payment, submit the sales report form, which is now the information for the closer to have, or the client success manager to have from the closer. So the triage report is handing over the lead from the triager to the closer. The sales report form is the closer now handing off the newly closed client to the client success manager for the onboarding process. Now, in terms of fulfillment, how do we go about fulfillment? So for these first clients, right, because Nick and I, my business partner, we were starting this agency as if we were completely scratch, right? All we had was $1,000 ad spend. That's it. Everything else was completely done by us. So we fulfilled for these guys. We built everything. We closed them. We marketed. We did everything, right? Just to show that anybody can do it from the beginning. Now, in terms of fulfillment, there's a couple ways you can do it. Do it yourself. In the beginning, that's how most people are going to do it. Unless you're in like a program, for example. Like when we work with agencies, we do fulfillment for them and then we eventually help them build their own internal fulfillment team and everything like that. But if you're starting yourself completely yourself, you're going to be doing fulfillment your own. You can do it. It's not scalable and you won't be able to do complex things for the most part, especially relating to AI. But The other option is you can outsource, aka you can outsource, you can hire, etc. It's difficult in the beginning. You don't really know how to hire good people. You might go Fiverr, Upwork. It's a bit cheap, it's a bit risky, but the best thing is to use specialized fulfillment partners. And honestly, that's what I recommend. Like that's what we do for our clients that we work with agency wise is they'll come to us, we'll help them build all their systems that I'm going over in this video. And then they will need to have fulfillment done, right? We'll let them use our engineers and everything to do fulfillment for them. And then eventually we'll help place their own internal engineers, fulfillment team, media buyers, everything. And so that's what we help them do. And look, if you do want to work with us, click the link in the description, book a call with me. We'll see if you're a good fit and we will scale the fuck out of your business. But if not, let's keep it going. So example, you can work with us, Insight AI. It's a seamless process, hands off, and it's very repeatable. We have systems in place that make it very easy for us to fulfill at scale. And we eventually help you build those same systems. Now, delivery and client success, this is what it looks like. You get the payment, they get a welcome email with their onboarding form in there. Then they're going to fill their onboarding form. You're going to get all the extensive information you need about the AI build that you're doing, their business information, everything. They're going to submit that onboarding form and book an onboarding call with you. And then, so what you do is you set it up in a funnel. The onboarding form is the first page of the funnel. Then when they submit that onboarding form, they get brought to the second page of the funnel, which is the calendar where they book their onboarding call. When they submit that on, when they schedule their onboarding call, that sends them to the welcome video on the third page of the funnel, which is you setting the expectations in that video, breaking down what it's going to look like to work with you, setting the timelines, etc. Especially for home service guys, that's huge. And then you have the onboarding call, you begin to build everything, the testing, you launch it, and then you train the client on certain aspects, and then you are good to go. Now, scaling and building the machine. So building the team, this is where you're going to be hiring people, right? So for us, Nick and I, we're business partners. We know, okay, we can comfortably get to probably 20, 30K a month without bringing on anybody, right? Without hiring, because that's 10 to 15 clients on our smallest package. We can handle 10 to 15 clients ourselves. It'll be a lot, but we can handle it until we need to start hiring. So that's kind of the milestones. If you're solo, maybe by the 15K a month mark, you're going to want to start hiring people, maybe 10K even. You might want to hire a setter at least. And so Triager, great first hire. They handle the calling. They'll book for your leads. They'll book for your clients. They'll book for you. They'll call your leads. They'll call your clients' leads. Everything like that. Setter, very similar, except they're usually doing it over text. You can do it over the phone, either or. Triager is just typically over the phone version of a setter. Closer, you want to be doing sales. You want to be doing sales until you're probably at the 30 to 50K a month mark, because you want to get a good closer. You don't want to bring in a shitty closer. You want to get a good closer. And a good closer is only going to go to a job where they're going to be able to make good money. Closers make 10%. So do the math. If you're doing 30K a month, the closer is only going to be making 3K a month. That's not appealing for a good closer. A good closer wants to be making 10K a month. So they're realistically going to be going to those 6-figure a month offers. So a lot of people are like at 10K a month, they're like, oh, I want to bring on a closer. And you're like, okay, your closer, if he does as good as you, is going to make $1,000 a month. You're not going to get a good closer like that. And so that's why it's important to do the sales, get good at the sales. So that way, when your closer comes in and you're at the 40, 50K a month mark, your closer sees, okay, there's a lot of room for growth. I'm making 4 or 5K a month right now, but I can help scale this thing up. And you're good at sales to where you can actually train the closer and help them out with things. Engineer is another great one, a tech person essentially, where they're handling a lot of the back-end stuff, make automation, Zapier stuff throughout the onboarding inside of your business. They're building workflows when you need it, all that type of stuff. Very useful. That is honestly one of our most useful team members is our engineer. He's amazing and very, very good at what he does. And then a client success manager. This is somebody, so right now, this is somebody we will probably wait a bit to hire in our agency because Nick is handling that. I'm handling the sales. The sales, closing, and client success are probably the two things that we will wait the longest to hire. We'll probably be at 30, 40, 50K a month before we do that because we can handle those. The other roles we will hire, media buyers, setters, triagers, etc. But the other things like client success and closing, we can continue to do. And the client success manager takes part of onboarding the clients, communication with the clients, upsells, all that type of stuff. Now, automating the operations. When you're automating the onboarding process, really any processes, you need to have SOPs, which means standard operating procedures, where you know how to go through the whole process. Then you're just going to record Loom videos and create a Google Doc, for example, or a Notion, breaking down exactly how to go through the whole process. If it's onboarding, for example, you're going to record every single step of the onboarding process, everything they need to do to successfully onboard a client. You're going to put it into a nice document, whether it's Google Docs, Notion, etc., and you're going to break down exactly how somebody else can do it. So you should be able to have somebody who has never seen how to onboard a client in their life look at your SOP and know exactly how they can onboard a client for you. That's the purpose of SOPs. And you're going to want to build SOPs for every single individual task inside of the business. That's how you build a successful, scalable business and you automate the operations. Now, scaling paid traffic. I'm going to breeze through this. This is very simple. Increase the ad spend. If you see an ad that is crushing it, duplicate it. Increase the ad spend. Split test funnels. Split test everything. You need to be split testing creatives, copy, headlines, the CTAs, the funnels, how you're capturing the leads. Are you asking for name, email, phone number? Are you asking for name, email, phone number to question? Send them to an opt-in page. All these types of things you need to split test. Down the line, YouTube ads, Google ads. But if you're under 30K a month, don't even worry about these. Facebook, Instagram ads is more than enough. You can do, organic stuff, but I'm not even going to focus on that here because it's just not necessary to get to 10, 20, 30K a month. Don't divide your attention. Now, when it comes to increasing MRR and LTV, which is monthly recurring revenue and lifetime value, upsells. If we do good for a client, we get them, the 10 to 20 estimates and they're happy, we're going to upsell them from our 2K month retainer to our 5K month retainer. That's an example of an upsell. Or it's like, okay, we're doing great for you. We can build an agent to handle customer service inquiries. It's 5K one time. That's an upsell. That also increases lifetime value. Maintenance packages for a monthly retainer for certain things, referral programs where if they refer somebody to you, you give them $500 for a referral. Cross sells, if they need anything that's even related, maybe they need a website. Okay, I don't build websites, but I'll find somebody who builds websites and I'll take a commission on, or I'll give them a commission. I mean, if I charge $3,000 for a website, I'll give this guy $1,000 and I don't need to do anything. That's an example of cross sells. So this is breaking down essentially everything that you need to get to 10 to 20 to 30K a month. And look, if you want us to actually work with you one-to-one, our team with you to build all this out, click the link in the description, book a call with us. You will be speaking to me directly. I will make sure you're a good fit. And if you are, we will scale your business like crazy. But this actually was way longer of a video than I was expecting because there's a lot of stuff to go through. Hopefully I provided value to you here, gave you some sauce, gave you some stuff that helped you out. And if there's any aspects of this that you want me to make a separate video on, just breaking down even more in depth, let me know and I will do it. I'll see you in the next one.